Hello, it's Jess. Today, let's explore whether Premier Access at Disneyland Paris is worth it and all the things to consider before buying it. First, let's start with what is it and how much does it cost? Premier Access is a pass that you can buy to join a dedicated queue line, which is faster than the regular queue for certain attractions at Disneyland Paris. I've created a table so you can easily see which attractions it covers and the average queue times. There are two options for Premier Access. The first one is Disney Premier Access Ultimate. So this one is valid for 1 day on your selected date. It includes 15 attractions, there are no allocated time slots, and guests can use Disney Premier Access Ultimate once on each available attraction. Now, the important question, how much does it cost? When I checked on the app, you could only see the prices if you have linked your tickets or a booking. The price depends on the date of the visit. When I looked in November for December prices, these were the prices. As you can see here, on Sunday it was just over £140 per person, so over £570 for 4 people, but on Monday to Thursday it was £107 per person. We will talk about whether it's worth it later in the video, and I have a list of things you might want to consider when deciding whether or not to buy the Premier Access. Moving on to the second option, Disney Premier Access 1. This is a pass for one-time use for one attraction. There are 16 eligible attractions, and there are allocated time slots, unlike the Disney Premier Access Ultimate. In terms of the cost, each attraction has its own price, and I've added that to the table of eligible attractions based on what I saw in the app. So let's see what the eligible attractions are. As you can see here, Orbitron is only available via Premier Access 1. Just for your reference, across the two parks there are 54 attractions, so it covers nearly a third of the attractions. In this table, you can see all the eligible attractions for Disney Premier Access 1 and Ultimate, and also the price of the Disney Premier Access 1 by attraction. So how do you buy it? For Disney Premier Access Ultimate, you can buy on the app or the website, and also the Holiday Express is part of the hotel and tickets package or selected partners, or you can purchase it at City Hall in Disneyland Park or Studio Services in the Walt Disney Studios Park. But for Disney Premier Access 1, you can only buy this via the Disneyland Paris app. Let's talk about the list of things to consider when deciding whether or not to buy Premier Access. Number 1. When are you planning on going? During school holidays, the park is likely to be busier with longer queue times. Number 2. How long is your trip? If you're there for only 1 day and wish to go on as many rides as possible, then Disney Premier Access Ultimate could be helpful if the park is busy. Number 3. How many times do you plan to go back to Disneyland Paris? If you're only going once and have a long list of attractions that you want to try, then maybe Premier Access is the way to go because it'll save you time. Number 4. What is your budget? I mean, if you've got the budget and you don't want to queue, then this is another option for you. Number 5. What are the alternatives? If you stay in a Disney hotel, you have extra magic hours, so you can enter the park before official opening times, and queue times for rides are often shorter during that time. Also, you might want to consider whether the rides have a single rider queue. I'll also add that into the table for you later. Number 6. How much time would you save and the price that you are willing to pay? Number 7. If you're going with children, then queuing for longer periods may be harder. And lastly, for number 8, if you are deciding between the two Premier Access options, how many rides are you considering on buying Premier Access 1 for? Because it really does add up, so it might just end up being cheaper to buy Disney Premier Access Ultimate. Moving on to the big question, is it worth it? Here's a table of the rides and the average queue times for 2022 and the maximum queue times of that year. I also added in which rides have the single rider queues, as those queues are typically shorter than the main queue. The queue time data is from this website and it's very helpful. Where the queue times are under 30 minutes, I put that in green, and if it's 30 minutes to an hour, then I put that in amber, and for those that are over 1 hour, I put that in red. As you can see in the table, some rides don't have a very long wait. I'm thinking in particular Cars Road Trip, because the average of that year was 9 minutes. And there's also shorter waits for It's a Small World, Indiana Jones, Phantom Manor, and for rides like Buzz Lightyear, there are times in the day when queue times are shorter, like at the end of the day. In my opinion, Premier Access isn't worth it for me. Let's start with Premier Access 1. I think that some of the Premier Access 1 prices are really quite expensive. The most expensive one is 18 euros for Crush's coaster, and so for a family of 4, it would cost 72 euros just to get on the Premier Access 1 for that ride. At 18 euros, that is more than the cost of a meal at a quick service restaurant in Disneyland Paris. Don't forget to check out my video on how to make meal plans worth it at Disneyland Paris. The average queue time for Crush's coaster is 85 minutes, with the maximum being 117 minutes, but queue times fluctuate during the day. If you go around 9 p.m. at night, the queue time can be shorter, like 45 minutes here, and a single rider queue is only 25 minutes. Let's talk about Premier Access Ultimate. I think that for over £100 to £143 per person per day for 15 rides, it's pretty expensive too, as some rides don't have super long queues. I would rather spend the money on an extra night at the hotel or for food in the Disneyland Paris parks, sit-down restaurants. I also wanted to highlight that the prices for Premier Access Ultimate in this video is based on December days and not during the holidays, so the price might actually be even more expensive if it's during the holiday period. Overall, as we regularly go back to Disneyland Paris and we don't feel the need to do every ride every time, it's not a pass we would buy. Also, because we spend a couple of days there, we can really take our time with the attractions, even if there are queues. Some days, instead of watching the nighttime show, we will go on rides instead, as the queue times are often shorter. I just don't think the queue time that I'd be saving would be worth the price. When we have used something similar, it is in Walt Disney World for Star Wars: The Rise of the Resistance ride, which is easily one of our favorite rides there. It is so well done, but queue times can go up to 159 minutes. This is from 2022, and there are so many attractions to do in Walt Disney World, as there are 4 theme parks. We think it's worth it, so we can save time and then go on other rides. Last time we went, we paid $15 per guest for the Lightning Lane entry, which is similar to Disney Premier Access 1. Let's talk about when it might be worth it to use Premier Access in Disneyland Paris. If you are only there for a short amount of time and only plan to go to Disneyland Paris once and want to go on as many attractions as possible, then I think it's worth it. If you are planning to use Disney Premier Access 1 for all the eligible attractions that cost more than 10 euros, then it might end up adding up more than Premier Access Ultimate, in which case go for Premier Access Ultimate. Another reason might be that if you have kids and shorter queue times would make it easier, or it's just not comfortable for you to stand so long, then it may be worth it. If you also want to feel reassured that queue times will be shorter for some of the popular rides and you're short of time in the parks, then that's another reason why it might be worth it to buy Premier Access. Speaking of popular rides at Disneyland Paris, check out this video on the top 10 rides with tips and fun facts about the rides. Thanks for watching! Don't forget to subscribe for future videos!